Hi, hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Dr. Lawrence from Nigeria, and I'll be holding today's training with everybody. I just want to know if we are all online, so please give me a thumbs up or a like or a heart if you're online, and then we can continue. So please, can we better introduce ourselves so that we get to know each other? So just tell us where you're from and what part of the livestock industry do you operate in? I think a lot of people didn't do the poll because we had just like 30 persons doing the poll. So if you've not done the poll, just let us know where you're coming from or where you're reaching out from, as well as the sector of the livestock industry that you operate in, so that we'll get to know how to address everyone accordingly. Thank you. So I'm waiting quickly. Yeah, that's so great. Yeah, so it's nice to meet everybody. Thank you, Yandi. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Kabir. Thank you, Abubakar. Thank you, Bernard. I really appreciate. Thank you all for participating. So I'll start first by explaining quickly the broiler industry. Now, what's broiler farming basically? Broiler farming is simply raising birds like poultry birds for the purpose of meat. A sector of the poultry industry that caters for meat consumption. So it all depends on how you want to twist it, but it's just birds that we consume for meat. That's all. Moving on quickly, I'd like to break down the various sectors that are involved in the broiler farming industry, because understanding how the industry is structured would give you an oversight on what sector exactly to fit into based on your budget, based on your goals, based on your objectives, and based on your personality. You understand? And basically based on your time. Because for every business to succeed, it is very paramount that we must give it time. Before you even start thinking about livestock business in general, either broiler farming, poultry for eggs, fish farming, it really doesn't matter what particular sector of the livestock industry you're operating in. You must first of all think about your finance. You must think about your money. Remember, in any business that you do, the major thing that you want to protect is your money. Because if you're doing a business and you're not making money, you are not doing business. You're running a charity organization because you're feeding some people free money or free food. The major goal why we all do business is to make profit, is to make money. So either you're an investor or you're a farmer or you're a manager, the major reason why you do what you do is to make money. So understanding how money is made in the broiler farm industry is very, very important. So like I said, you must first of all understand the various sectors and how they function. So we need to do a backward integration first before we further talk about cost of running a farm, the cost of setting up a farm, what you need to set up a farm. Those are like the later stage. The initial stage, the ideation, the research phase is the phase that would guarantee the sustainability of your farm. So if you do not get the research stage right, you do not analyze the data properly about the market, about the farm, how it operates, the operations, about how you position your staffing, you'd have problem on the long run. So you get to see people who are so knowledgeable about the broiler farm industry, but still they do not make money. And you get to hear that 3 years down the line, they are out of business. Why do so many farmers get out of business within the space of 1 to 5 years? It's because they do not yet understand that there's a financial principle that operates in the livestock industry and specifically in the broiler industry. And this all begins from how you position yourself to research, to analyze your data, and to know exactly what sector of the broiler farming industry you can fit into so that you do not burn out yourself and burn out your mind. We have about 11 major sectors in the broiler farming industry, which comes with their various entry barriers. There are various internal economics and how they run, although they are all interrelated somehow, but they still have their own special internal economics or how they run. And they have their own special customers, they have their special clients, their special users. For example, for those that are into feed distribution, you may think that broiler feeds are only consumed by broiler birds, but it will shock you that some people feed their pigs with broiler feeds actually. So people that are in the feed industry, they understand that it's not just the broiler market or people that have broiler farms that they can sell to. They know as well that they can also sell their products to the people that have pig farms. A lot of people have various various ways with which they use the products that you're selling. So the first thing that you have to ask yourself if you want to start a broiler farm is this: what are the various sectors involved in this broiler industry? That's the first thing. Hope you're writing. That's the first thing, because even as an investor, that's the first thing you want to ask yourself. What is the various sectors that are involved in the broiler farm industry? 1. 2. What are the risks that are attached to each of these sectors? How risky are these sectors? For example, the broiler farm itself, that's broiler production itself, could be much more risky a deal or a venture to some persons than feed production or feed distribution or even cold chain or cold storage distribution of poultry meats. You understand? So there are other sectors that you may, for example, the feed distribution sector, it's not so risky a venture to do, but it's just that it bases its profitability on volume. You must be able to do a good number of volume for you to make money. So that's the second question. So the third question that you want to ask yourself is, what is the cost of entry into this sector? Now, the broiler production sector is the most easiest. It has the most lowest entry barrier because it's cheap to start a broiler farm. It's not that expensive. I'll talk about it more on how to start when we get to costs. Then the fourth question that you want to ask yourself is, what do I need in terms of talent or human resources to help me run my farm? There is nobody here that wants to get into any form of business that, especially in the broiler industry, that you would think or believe or be cajoled to believe that you can do it all alone. You will work with people as you go along the line, depending on the sector that you want to operate in. What does it take? What do I need? What are the features? What are the characteristics that I need to see in this persons before I can work with them? It must be well spelled out. You also want to ask yourself, what are my long-term financial goals? What are my short-term financial goals? If you're going to start a poultry farm, you need to have long-term. On the long term, what do I want to achieve? It could be that on the long term, you want to have your farm grow from 1,000 capacity to 100,000 capacity, which is very possible. People do it within 5-6 years, some less than 2 years, you understand? Like the first farm I ran, we increased in capacity from 1,000 to 12,800 in less than 6 months. When I mean both building, production, sales, and everything all being coordinated together. That was the very first time I ran. That was like way back 2019. You need to have it in perspective because these are the things that will drive you. So even if you're seeing some delays, some difficulties, some setbacks, but because you have like a standard, there is a goal, there is a vision that you're running with, you understand? So you just keep doing the things that you're doing. You keep pushing ahead, looking for solutions. There are people, they just get a little bit perturbed and they are out of business. But it is not supposed to be that way. If you have a goal that you're chasing, if you're perturbed as an entrepreneur that wants to succeed in the industry, you must look for a solution because there is always a way out. The other question that you want to ask yourself is, how long will it take for me to recoup or get back my money? Now, this is one question that most farmers do not ask themselves, or most business investors or livestock business owners, they do not ask themselves before they start their broiler farming business. Now, when I mean how long did it take for you to get back your money, I mean how long will it take for you to get back the money you used in starting the business? Every single thing, including the money you spent in building, which must be calculated into your monthly sales, into your yearly sales. So even if you're in the processing sector, the equipment you're going to buy to process your birds, you must get back your money. And there are accounting techniques and strategies that must be put in place for you to get back your money. Remember, I said initially, the goal of starting a business is to make money and not lose money. You understand? Now, normally people will tend to want to translate money. When I mean translate or transcribe, it's moving money from one form to another. Probably like buying an asset, like you probably want to get a land to build your poultry farm, or to build your processing plant, or to build your shop for doing your feed distribution and stuff like that. That is understandable very well. But still yet, you need to recoup your money. Now, what you want to ask yourself is, how long will it take me to get back my money? But understanding these terms will give you a good knowledge about how your finances work, to give you a good knowledge about how your cash flow or how your cash is moving. You must have heard a lot of farmers say, I just keep putting money, I don't even know where the money is going. You understand? It's because they actually do not know where the money is going. And most times what this causes is that it gives you high blood pressure. It makes you feel not so confident in the business because you do not even understand how your money is moving. Now, going back to the Mr. Ali, I think that's the name I used, but just pardon me, I just had to bring up a name. That is going to set up a farm using 8 million naira. And he keeps 5 million naira for operations. He does his building and everything. He decided to rent for 2 million, buys everything that he needs for maybe 1 million plus, and then he has roughly 500,000 naira left to run the farm, to sustain like an emergency fund. Now, along the line, starting the business, he now noticed that feeds went up, the prices of feeds went up, price of beds went up. So the projections they had for the 5 million was no longer enough. He needed to get more money. But now this new money that he's getting is coming from his salary. So he added his salary to it. Now, as they keep on going, because the bird takes about 6 weeks to grow, as they keep on going, the feed was not enough, so they had to put in more money. You understand? And the birds were sick, some died, they didn't keep records properly. Things just keep happening, and he keeps putting in more money. Now, as he's putting more money, because he does not have an accountant, he doesn't have someone taking good records. What happens? At the end of the poultry cycle, after selling, probably not even understanding how the market works, because that's another part that you need to also understand. The market dynamics, how the market works. You need to understand the market and the dynamics and run the data, get your data, know the region that sells the most, that buys better than the other regions. If you put your business at the mercy of just one buyer, you would have yourself to blame, because most frequently, as we've noticed in most parts of Africa, buyers don't have a fixed price. Now, we know that the broiler farm, the broiler industry, the prices vary based on season. You get, but there are people that they already understand the market dynamics and they know the different classes of buyers. They know how much this set of buyers. So let me list the different classes of buyers that we may likely have, that we actually have. You have the restaurants owners. You have the guys that do the grill guys. You have the cold room owners, people that run the cold room storage centers. You have even IDP centers, they buy chickens. You have schools like boarding schools. You have hotels. You have guest houses. You have bars and joints. All these guys, they consume chickens. Now, these are different market types. We also have chicken processors. That's the big guys that buy in the bulk. So in designing your marketing strategy and also designing your sales strategy, you have to put in perspective the market dynamics. You need to understand how the market works. You need to know that, okay, I have 10,000 birds for sale. If I sell my 10,000 birds to just one buyer, I'm only going to be at the mercy of his price. But if I split my sales to 4, 5, 6 buyers, we have one person buying for 1,650 per kg. I do him 5 tons. I have another person somewhere else that's buying for 1,800 per kg, and he needs a particular, maybe not so much a volume, maybe like 2 tons. I do him 2 tons. By the time I do a cumulative sales value, I should have an average that should be like a very, very good average. That's how you make money in the broiler farm. You understand? You do not base your sales in one region. So I'm already in marketing right now. So let me come back. Let me not do marketing already, because marketing is like the last part, and it's the most interesting part of the broiler farm, because if you understand the market dynamics, you would enjoy broiler farming. After asking all these questions, I hope you have them listed out. Just in case you do not have them listed out, please do go back to the tapes and listen properly. Have them listed out, the questions that you're supposed to ask yourself before setting up into the broiler broiler industry, either as an investor, a business owner, a farm manager, whatever the case may be. You need to ask yourself these questions.